everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm quickly going to speak about yoga and just share a few tidbits that I have picked up in my journey of practicing yoga, and I hope you can find this useful and include it in your practice. So just to quickly tell you a little bit of background, I think my first introduction to yoga has to be when I used to wait for my school bus and van, and I used to see people, elderly people all around the gardens practicing yoga and just laughing and just doing all of those asanas. So that's my first memory of it. Post it when I was into looking for quick fixes to lose weight, and you go through YouTube, you go through Google, Wikipedia, and you just find things that has helped people in the past lose weight. So I also stumbled across yoga, and people were doing Surya Namaskar and losing 10 kilos, 15 kilos, and it really intrigued me, and that is how I started practicing it. But it is one of the many wrong things that I've done in my life, and just the intention of practicing yoga, and with the intention that I started practicing with yoga was very, very wrong. And that is why I was literally just falling and not feeling it and not losing weight and not seeing any results, and not literally like just being numb at a physical level and not being able to feel anything because I was doing it for the wrong reason. So I practiced yoga ever since. So I have been practicing yoga for losing weight ever since 2015, 16, 17, 18. I used to do it, I used to like it, but I wanted to see the weight loss, I wanted to see the inch loss, and that was not happening. And then it's like, it just really irritates you because your intention is wrong. And that's exactly what happened with me. So a lot of people ask me, how long have I been doing yoga? It's not very long. So you won't believe, I think perfectly into it, doing it every single day, bang on, has to be this year. So 2020 has to be the year where this shift has taken place. So there is a difference between intellectual mind and your spiritual mind. Your intellectual mind is going to ask for science, it's going to ask for evidence, it's going to ask for research and clinical trials and proof, and you want to see it before you believe it and practice it. But when it comes to spiritual level and spiritual mind, after I started doing meditation and I started including yoga with it, I realized spirituality is something that I can't explain it to you, okay? I can't read about it, I can't write about it. I have to feel it. Every cell in my body has to feel what spirituality is, and that is what yoga gave me. So I was still meditating, I was still doing my pranayama and all of these stuff, the same song that so many people sing, but it's so true. It's so true when it comes to yoga. And of course, post after knowing these things, I also did a lot of my own research. I follow a few people, but I don't really go into the sutras and Patanjali and the 8 limbs of yoga. I know the gist of it, I know what people are speaking about, but I don't like to cloud my mind with lots of thoughts and opinions. So I like to keep it as simple as possible. Now see, not anytime soon, I don't really wish to pursue yoga or get some certifications and stuff. So I just do yoga because of the way it makes me feel. I eat good food because of the way it makes me feel. I love to take a walk, I love to hit 10,000, 13,000 steps because of the way it makes me feel, and not to lose weight and not to gain something out of it. So it's like, you do something for someone because they are capable of doing something and giving it back to you. And to me personally, I'm speaking for myself, it's a very shallow way to live. It's not a way to live, and I don't live like that, okay? So be it living things, be it non-living things, I don't have any expectations. I do it because I want to do it, I love to do it, I love how it makes me feel. If one day I wake up and yoga does not make me feel this way, I will not do it, I will stop doing it. Okay, now speaking about yoga, I might get a little emotional, I can already feel it, but it's okay, I'm going to continue. So with yoga, you have to understand, we have 72,000 nadis and energy channels. So different medicine would name it different things, you can call it blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, energy channels, and just Chinese medicine would call it as meridians inside the body. It's everyone is singing the same song with different name and different lyrics and different music, but the essence of it remains the same for you and me, for any living being. we are low on battery, or for any living being, you know, the gist of it remains the same. So let's say we have energy molecules that is traveling through the blood, we have neurotransmitters, we have hormones, we have ATPs that is just traveling. That is exactly what yoga is also doing, but under a different name. Okay, so Ayurveda would call it something else, Western medicine would call it something else, but the gist of it really remains the same. So you know, we all always want to create space. Let's say I want a new bed in my room. So if I want a new bed in my room, I have to let go of the bed that is already here so that I can create space for a new bed to come. So you want to become a new person, you want to change your body, you want to breathe better, move better, think better thoughts. But if your body is clogged up with past things, and you know, some words or some emotions or some food and junk food and all of these things that is just, you know, kind of clogging up your nerves and channels, you are never going to be able to create space. There is something known as prana. Okay, prana is your oxygen, breathing, energy, and it needs to flow. For it to flow, it needs space. And how do you create that space? You create that space by moving, by stretching, by flexibility. And you wouldn't believe, so the more practices we do, the more asana we do, and the more, so let's say I'm on my mat, okay, and I'm trying to get into these asanas, I'm going to twist and turn my body and just do something with it. You always have to know that there is something known as prefrontal cortex in the brain, and it's just trying to adapt to all of these physical postures that I'm doing. So in a way, I am kind of training my prefrontal cortex to deal with life, because I don't know whenever there is going to be a situation that would ask for me to be more stronger, and that would ask for me to be just very resilient and just get through life. So if I can get through these asanas, I can still have a control over my breath, I can still be strong, I can still be calm. So being strong and being calm when I'm doing my physical postures is also going to help me live the way. So it's about, I learn how to live on the mat, and you practice it, you apply it when you are not on the mat, when you are living your life. So I am still intermediate, okay, I have not reached there. I can sometimes read something, see something, I can sometimes see a message, and that would throw me off, it would make me angry, and I'm trying to change it, but it happens, it still happens, and I'm still working on it, but it's there. Okay, so it's about strengthening your mind, which in turn strengthens your body. So if I have to pick one between mind and body, I will pick mind, because if I have control over my own mind, if my mind is strong, I can get through anything in this life. And not just me, all of us. So all of us, we need to work on our mind and strengthening the mind. And how do you do it? Yoga is one way. It's not a hobby, it actually has its effect at the molecular and submolecular level. Now let's say you're practicing asana and you are getting into these postures and all of the Sarvangsana and Mayurasana and Bhadrasana and everything. Okay, what happens is, the more there is elasticity, the water content inside the muscles and the tendons and ligaments, it changes. When that changes, it stimulates stem cells. You need stem cells for regeneration, for growth, for the apoptosis of old cells, and so that new cells can come in and do the work and just, you know, regenerate your body from within. So when we speak about anti-aging, when we speak about muscles, when we speak about the internal robust health of a human body, yoga has everything to do with it. And I'm not saying you should do it because it is doing this, but it is just one of the 1,000 benefits that it has. You know, people have spent 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years practicing it and just understanding their own body, the mistakes, and so many people around the world are doing it, and it just makes me feel like, you know, I see so many Western people following this, and they've made a huge business out of it. There's nothing wrong with it, but people who are from India, you know, like, this is from us, we have given this to world, then why are we not doing this? Why are we not at the top A level? And why are we so fascinated by people who are doing it from the outside, and we are not doing it on our own? So with all due respect, everyone is doing great, and I personally follow a lot of people who are not from India, and they do great yoga and great vipassana and yoga flows and everything. So nothing against it, but my only point is, it should not be like ghar ki murgi dal barabar. It should be, we should do it, we should respect it, we should include it in our life. any health trouble, any health issue, irrespective of what you have, if you have the power in your body to sit down and move and just do some stretches, do some yoga, do some asanas, do some pranayama, you should do it. That's where the healing begins. You need body, you need space, you need oxygen, you need energy. That is how we heal. Everything is great. Food is great, medicine is great. Everything that you are doing to get better is amazing, but you also need this. The more you practice physical postures, the more you do hard asanas, it has also been shown that there is something known as amygdala, that is the fear center of the brain, and its size actually shrinks. So up until 20th century, when the brain science was very infant in its time, people did not know that brain could change, or there is something known as neuroplasticity, or there is something known as that your brain is plastic and it can change, it can adapt, it can move, it can get stronger, it can get weaker according to the way we treat it, according to the kind of things that we expose it to. So when we speak about this, you change your brain, you change your neurology, that affects your physiology changes, and that changes you. And I have personally seen it and feel it, and it's miraculous. You see that change every single day. So it's like day in day out you practice yoga, and it's almost like isse kya hoga, isse kya hoga, isse kya hoga. But the small actions, it's huge, and it has a tremendous in just the way you feel inside the body. So I will just take a walk and I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling so light. I have to bend down to pick something up. Oh, I'm feeling so light. I have to suddenly open my legs and just do some stretching or something, and it's just like it just goes like water. It's like running water, and the body just flows. So if you're doing yoga and if you can't breathe, you are not doing yoga. You have to breathe through your nose, not through your mouth, because brainstem, it's actually something that looks into your metabolic alkalosis or acidosis. It's actually going to be maintained through the breathing of the nose. So anyone who is even doing HIIT training, and if you're not able to breathe through your nose, you have gone too far and you need to come back. You need to be able to breathe through your nose. That is how you know that you are strengthening and not straining your system. So breathing through nose while practicing yoga, keeping your mind there and just being present inside your body is very important, and it changes the game. Start with 10 minutes, start with 15 minutes. That's where I started, and even there are days now where I'm like, okay, what my body is saying, it just wants to sit, and it's it's no longer in a position to move and stuff. I won't move. I would just sit and be with myself. I would just do some breathing, and suddenly my body is in a place where it wants to move. So your body has to speak to you. Your body will tell you, okay, push, okay, go get that split, okay, do the shoulder stands or handstands or headstands. Do it. Your body will tell you. So it's not about, oh, my goal is to do this. Keep that in mind, but do it because of the way it's going to make you feel, and not because of the way it's going to make you look. Because believe me, if your intention is correct, looking good on the physical body is just a bonus. It's great. I love looking good. Everyone wants to have a great figure and great skin, and there's nothing wrong with it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. But the intention with which I do and include such practices in my life, it just changes the way I feel from the inside. It's a change at molecular, cellular, subcellular level. It's change inside my body, and for that to happen, I need to have good intention. So if you want to start yoga, you can start it from tomorrow. Tomorrow is 1st July, if I'm not wrong, and it's a beautiful day. It's the start of a month. We still have so many months to go before 2020 ends, and let's make it count. You literally don't need anything. You just need you. You need a disciplined mind. You need a tamed mind, and you just need to sit on your mat. Let's say you don't have mat. Do it on some kind of bed sheet. Do it on some kind of gadda that is a little like thicker, and just order a good mat. To quickly tell you my 2 favorite mats, I'll show it. Okay, I can't show it. It's under. It's okay. I'll put it out some I will put it on IG. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's my view and opinion on yoga. I absolutely love it. I recommend it. It has changed my life. It has changed the way I feel. I have personally not even looked at my body when it comes to yoga, so I don't know what happens on the physical level, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, it has changed me 180 degrees. It has just changed me, the way I react, the way I feel, the way I respond, the way I deal with life, the way I deal with patients, the way I deal with clients, the way I consult. Every cell in my body has changed because of this practice, and I wish and pray and hope for everyone to feel the same, and I hope it helps. Take care.